huge fight scenes, a hanging, baby Grace in peril, Luke Kelly on the rampage, a dead body, Rita Connors kicking ass, and a drowning. That's just some of the things that have been revealed in the biggest trailer ever. So get ready everyone, and let's talk Wentworth. Hi guys, welcome back to Wentworth Life. If this is your first time here, then hit that subscribe button right now for all future updates. All my social media links are underneath this video, and as usual, if you stick around until the end of the video, I will be responding to some of your comments from some of my previous videos. So guys, I hope you are all well on this beautiful day today. Now, I literally don't even know where I am going to begin on this video, because the latest new trailer that Foxtel have dropped is massive, and a lot of stuff is going on. I didn't think it would be possible for them to release an even bigger trailer than last week's, but they have, and now it's time to pick everything apart and take a look at what the hell is going on in this trailer. Now before we get started, I have slowed parts of this trailer down just so that we can see what is happening, because it's another one of those trailers where if you blink you will miss something. So let's take a look at the trailer with certain parts slowed down, and then we will pick it apart. So, I hope you enjoyed my little dramatic take on that trailer. But guys, so much is going on. So let's start at the beginning. So we have that scene once again of Ferguson in the yard with that massive kitchen knife. She then runs across the yard and goes to stab Mr. Jackson, but they revealed a tiny little bit more once again. They pretty much showed Ferguson plowing that knife right at Mr. Jackson, and they cut it away just before the knife enters his body. Now, I've seen a lot of your theories about this possibly being a dream, and also I know Michelle has said in her videos that she thinks it could also be a dream, and you know what guys, I think you might all be correct, because there is no way that they would put this in the trailer if this was going to be Mr. Jackson's death scene. Now, when I saw this in today's trailer, it got me thinking that this could actually happen at the start of this new season. Picture this guys, okay? It's August 24th, and the first episode is just about to start. So first of all, we're going to get a really big recap of what happened in last year's season, just to refresh our memories. Then once that recap is over, I don't think we're going to get the opening credits. It will cut to this very scene where the white little flower thing flies across the yard and onto a bunch of flowers, and then Joan will be chilling in the yard, only to then pull out that knife. She will run at Will and she will stab him over and over again to the point where it's a bloodbath in the yard. But then Joan will open her eyes in her cell, staring up into space with a menacing look as the camera pans up from a bird's eye view of Ferguson, revealing of it being a dream. And then we'll get the opening credits, and then of course the episode will begin. That's what I think could happen. But either way, I am 100% inclined to believe that this is Joan having a dream about murdering Will, and it's not actually going to be his death scene. This will tie in with what Joan is saying in the background: I'm having urges that I can't contain. We also have Joan saying, do you really think that you can escape the consequences of your actions? Now I reckon Joan is definitely saying this to either Will, Vera or Jake, and she is 100% coming for all three of them. The trailer then cuts to a prison van coming into the prison. Now I think this could also be at the start of the first episode. I think it will either be Ali coming back from the hospital, or it could be Rita coming back after being recaptured. That famous line is also back in this trailer: the path that you're currently on leads to war. A lot of people we know will end up dead. Now if you watched my last video, it was confirmed by Foxtel that this was actually B. Smith's voice saying this line. Now I cannot remember B ever saying this in previous seasons, and a lot of you commented saying neither can you. And let's be fair guys, I reckon quite a few of us have binge watched Wentworth hundreds of times between us all, and I'm pretty sure one of us would have remembered if B had said this. So I do think that B is going to come to Ali in a dream sequence this year, and these are going to be some of the lines that B is going to say. Now if this does come true, then I am literally going to be screaming with happiness when this scene happens. I'm not even joking guys, I'm a massive B and Ali fan. Now in this clip we see Vera on her phone looking very worried. Now I reckon this definitely has something to do with that photo from the graveside, because in a different part of the trailer this very photo is shown and it looks like it's being printed out of a printer somewhere. So who is doing this? Interestingly as well, we have Dr. Miller making an appearance of him saying, for God's sake Joan, what do you know? What did you do to them? Now this could be a very significant moment in the show, manipulating Dr. Miller in this final season. Joan may even confide in Dr. Miller and convince him that she is being victimized by certain staff members in Wentworth, and maybe this is Dr. Miller printing out the photo and starts to help Joan. This is going to start getting very twisted. Now I have said before that I reckon the writers have kept Dr. Miller around for a certain reason, and his character is definitely going to play a big part with Joan this year. It wouldn't surprise me if these photos make an appearance at her trial. This could even put Vera on the wrong side of her own bars. Talking of Vera, there is a moment in the trailer that has me quite worried. So in this scene we have those two detectives back who were investigating Joan's escape back in season 6, and we have Vera running into the interview room screaming, "That is my daughter." Now from what I can see, I think the police have found Joan's hideout on her photo board from last season, and of course Joan had photos and a passport for baby Grace, and I think this is why Vera is running into the interview room absolutely horrified. I think Vera is going to realise just how close Ferguson came to kidnapping baby Grace last season, and it's going to completely freak Vera out. And I think this is only just the start for Vera. Vera is in for one hell of a ride this year, and I think we are going to see some epic scenes from her character. And it wouldn't surprise me if baby Grace does get kidnapped. Joan is going to be completely evil this year, as throughout the trailer we see a couple of menacing looks from Joan, and you can clearly see she's really enjoying her revenge schemes. And sticking with Joan just for a moment, we also see Joan talking to Lou Kelly, and she is saying to Lou, "I understand exactly what you are." Now I'm wondering whether if Joan is going to try and team up with Lou, or maybe this could just be Joan trying to throw her weight around and maybe even trying to indirectly threaten Lou after what Lou did to her last season. I definitely sense a fight scene between these two at some point. Either that or they will play games with each other throughout the season, which will be very interesting to see because both of these characters do not mess around, so things could get very messy between Lou Kelly and Joan Ferguson. Also in the trailer, we see Mari having a noose around her neck again and screaming out, "Ali, no." Now I spoke about this in my previous video in great detail last week, so I'm not going to talk too much about this, but I am going to emphasize that I don't think this is going to be Mari's death scene. I think Mari is getting blamed for something that she hasn't done. However, if we move on to this scene, we see some sort of poison in action. Someone is putting poison into two different mugs and Mari is in the background watching and looking very pleased with herself. Now I think that this could actually be Sheila pouring that poison powder into the mugs. I think Sheila and Mari will work together to try and get rid of Lou Kelly. I mean, there were hints of this in last year's season. However, I am a little bit confused as to why it's being poured into two mugs. Who else is Mari planning on taking out? Is one of these poisons for Ruby Mitchell? Could we be in for a massive twist here, guys? Could someone else accidentally drink the poison? Maybe Reb Keen. This could all tie into why Mari is being lynched by the women in the shower block. Now we could even look at this at a different angle. Maybe Mari will get lynched early on in the season for a whole other reason, but get saved just in time. And maybe at this stage Mari just has had enough and decides to poison the women who tried to murder her in the shower block. I guess we will just have to wait and see on this one. But something we have to take note of with this scene is that it can't be the same poison that Mari had from last season. If I remember correctly, last year Mari had rat poison and I'm sure it was in liquid form. So this powder stuff can't be the same poison that Mari has hidden away. So there's still no clues as to what's gonna happen with that liquid rat poison. We also see Sheila ripping up a bed sheet and maybe she is making a noose. So is Sheila going to double cross Mari and be a part of the lynching mob? Now, Ali appears in the trailer in small doses. We have her crying in the shower block at one moment. We also have a scene where Judy is giving Ali a kiss on the cheek. Now, when I saw this, it really got my blood boiling. Judy is going to keep manipulating Ali this season, and I tell you what, it's going to have me screaming at the TV. I'm now even wondering whether if Judy is going to try it on with Ali, and maybe Judy's going to become Ali's girlfriend in this final chapter. I mean, it really wouldn't surprise me at all. What better way to manipulate someone by pretending to fall in love with that very person? I think Judy is going to drive us all insane this year. Also guys, did you notice Ali in this fight scene? At the top we can see a wheelchair which is clearly Ali wrapped up in B's red blanket. But let's quickly talk about this fight scene. So we have Rita fighting someone in the yard in the middle of all the women. Now the person who Rita is fighting, I actually first couldn't tell who it was. I mean, at first I thought it was Reb, but when I slowed it down, I mean, I just can't tell now. Not only that, but Lou Kelly is actually there, but she's just standing there. Now, I'm not being funny, but if this was Reb fighting Rita in the yard, then why would Lou Kelly just stand there and do nothing? I mean, we have Ruby and Mari being held back, but not Lou Kelly. But if we take a closer look, most of the women who are standing around, I think they are the protection women who are in Lou Kelly's crew. So I think this could actually be Lou and her crew trying to teach Rita a lesson in the yard when she first comes back to Wentworth. No doubt Lou Kelly will have heard about Rita's reputation of beating Drago to death. So I reckon this is just the women from Lou's crew trying to teach Rita a lesson. Hence why we have Ruby being held back and even Mari. I reckon Rita will wipe the floor though in this fight scene. I mean, remember when Ferguson took on a load of women back in season 5 and wiped the floor with them? I reckon this will be Rita's version, and she will kick ass, and Lou will be a little bit worried when this happens. This could then be the reason why we see in the trailer Lou talking to Rita saying, "Is that what you want?" I think this could take place after the fight scene, and Lou might even try and get Rita to team up with her crew somehow, maybe after seeing what Rita is capable of. It's just amazing to see Rita in action. I was so excited when I saw this morning. Also guys, it's interesting to see that you've got some of the women wearing like white hats, and you've also got some of the women wearing black jackets. So is this going to be part of the new uniform? Because if I remember correctly, the teal hoodies got banned last year. So maybe this is part of new uniform, because it looks like they're all pretty cold out in that yard. We also see Rita throwing some punches at someone in a different part of the trailer. From what I can make out, I'm thinking this could happen in the laundry. And while we're on the subject of the laundry, there is an amazing moment that we see of Boomer and Lou Kelly going head to head in the laundry. When I saw it this morning, I literally had flashbacks of that Bea and Frankie fight scene in season 2. So what we see in this trailer is Boomer armed with a shiv, and it looks like that Boomer and Lou Kelly are circling each other in the first few seconds. And then in another part of the trailer, we actually see them properly fighting when Boomer throws Lou up against a washing machine. Now I was actually quite shocked when I saw this. I mean, out of all the fight scenes that I thought would take place this year, I was not expecting a big fight scene between Boomer and Lou Kelly in the laundry. Last season, Boomer seemed quite scared of Lou Kelly. I'm not sure whether it's because Boomer always knew what Lou is capable of from their history. All I can say is that Boomer must have snapped after what happened to Ali. I think maybe after Bea being killed and then Kaz getting killed and now Ali almost being killed, Boomer isn't going to take it anymore, and she is going to let loose. As for who I think will win this fight, I literally cannot call it, but if I had to choose, I'm gonna go with Lou Kelly. Actually guys, I'm just gonna put it out there right now, but I actually kind of hope on this one occasion the officers come and break up the fight before things get too out of control for both Boomer and Lou. In another part of the trailer, we see Boomer kicking the crap out of someone, and now I'm not sure who this is because it doesn't actually show who's being kicked. Maybe it's Mari, or maybe it's just someone else from Lou Kelly's crew. In one part of the trailer, we can hear someone saying things are unraveling. Now I can't make out who is saying this, apart from the fact it does sound like Reb, and if it is Reb, I'm wondering why is he saying this? I mean, what is unraveling? I mean, it might not be Reb, but I got a feeling it is. And speaking of Reb, well, right then guys, there are a few different moments in this trailer that I think points to Reb's death scene. In the trailer, we see Mari looking into cell number 62, turning around and looking horrified. And we also see a dead body being taken out of the same unit. Now, I went back to season 8 part 1, episode 8, and I noticed that during the scene where Reb and Lou see the news report of the retreat on TV, Reb runs into his cell followed by Lou Kelly, and we clearly see that cell 62 is Reb's cell. So is this the moment Reb is found, and is this Reb's dead body being taken away? There is another scene where Jake is looking into a cell with Linda running into a panic to see what's happening, and you can see Joan standing in her cell next door. This could also be part of Reb's body being found. Maybe Mari alerts the officers what she's seen, or maybe even Lou Kelly is in there cradling her dead lover's body and screaming. I actually dread to think how this is going to pan out. It's not going to be very easy viewing. I've actually got goosebumps just thinking about it. We even have a moment where Lou is screaming at Boomer saying, "You did nothing," as if Lou is blaming Boomer for not being a good top dog after Reb's death. Just watching Lou Kelly screaming and losing her shit, you can just tell this is definitely gonna happen after Reb's death. We also have a scene of Lou and Reb kissing in the unit. I'm wondering now, maybe this could be Lou having some flashback moments to the love of her life. We also have a spoon with some string on it. Now, I have no idea what this means in the trailer. Maybe it's some sort of weapon, I have no idea. Do any of you guys know what this means? Let me know in the comments box. We have that scene again where Judy seems to be running at Lou but seems to fall over. We have Bitchface and Reynolds turning around in the yard looking pissed off about something. We have have Ruby Mitchell in her cell looking worried about something. We also have Judy locked in a cell and banging on the glass. Now I'm wondering whether if Anne Reynolds has had Judy possibly locked away in the psych ward. But I think one of the biggest things that we see in this trailer, it happens right at the end. Now we see someone being thrown into one of those big bins that's filled with water. And this person is being thrown in head first by all of Lou Kelly's crew. And you can even see Lou Kelly sitting there in the background really enjoying with what's happening in front of her. But the big question is, who is this that the women are trying to drown? Now it really is hard to see, but you can clearly see that it is somebody with black hair. They have teal trousers on, but they are wrapped up in a dressing gown. I'm thinking it's either Judy or Ruby. They are the only ones that have black hair. I mean, this could be part of Judy's comeuppance, and maybe Judy will get pulled out of the water and then put into the freezer to die. Also guys, see this woman here? I reckon this is the character who Rita is fighting in the yard. But back to this scene, who do you guys think is being dunked in the water? Do you think it's Judy or Ruby? Or do you think it's somebody else? Also, why do you think this is happening? I mean, at this stage, guys, for me, there is no way I can tell why this is happening. I mean, just from this trailer alone, we can clearly see that a lot of shit is going to go down. And at this point, it's very hard to tell who has crossed who. So I think we're just going to have to sit tight, guys, and really wait and see what happens here. What the trailer did reveal is that Lou Kelly is pretty much going to be going around trying to destroy everyone in her path this year, and I don't think this trailer is even showing us the best bits from Lou Kelly. Remember guys, they will definitely be saving the best bits for when the episodes actually air, which is 4 weeks today guys. But just even seeing all the stuff that they have shown us, honestly guys, this is going to be the biggest, baddest, craziest season we've ever seen. So that's everything broken down from the trailer, and I have to say, I do think it was one of the best trailers I've ever seen from Wentworth. It really didn't disappoint, and it was quite unexpected. I didn't expect another trailer this week, and even though they have teasers with quite a lot so far, it's very hard to make sense of what's happening and why. All I know is that it's got me bloody excited for the 24th of August. Anyway guys, let me know in the comments box below, what did you think of today's trailer? Who do you think the women are dunking in that bin full of water? Give me all your amazing theories. And on the subject of comments, it's now time for some comment replies. So we have Ricky Corbett. This looks like it might be the best season yet. Boomer looks like the one not to mess with this season, as long as she's not killed off. Yes, Ricky, it's 100% going to be the best season, and literally the most brutal. And I'm with you, do not touch Boomer. Do not touch her. Give her the happy ending that she deserves. Thank you for your comment, Ricky. We have Mary Forehand. I just don't want it to end. In the past, it was supposed to end, but due to public outcry, they continued. Is anyone crying out? Is there any hope or possibility of getting it extended? If so, who do we contact? Or has everyone just expected that it's the end? Well, Mary, the thing is, we're very lucky that we even got a Season 8 Part 1 and Part 2. It's all to do with Australian funding. I'm not too clued up about it. Maybe somebody else can answer your question, but it is something to do with funding. Not only that, I believe that the writers are actually exhausted after writing all these seasons of Wentworth, and they're quite happy to have a bit of a break. But saying that, Joe Porter has even said that there is a chance that he could come back one day. She did even quote, "Never say never," but of course they have to be careful with what they say, because we don't even know how this season is going to end. I mean, by the end of this season there may not even be a prison left, so we'll just have to wait and see. But I'm with you, Mary. I would actually love Wentworth to come back. I'm happy to wait 2 to 3 years if that's what it takes, but we'll just have to wait and see. But I think we have to accept for the moment, Mary, this is the end. Thank you for your comment. And we have Phoebe, I Can't Breathe. This is going to be the most sensational, drama-fueled season we've ever seen, I think. They're going to end it with such a high they never disappoint. I'm with you, Phoebe. I'm totally with you. They really... last season, there was a lot of moaning, saying it was a bit of a slow, it was a bit of a damp squid of a season. Guys, that was just the build-up to what we've got coming. Thank you for your comment, Phoebe. And we have Kaylin Wadland. I hope I pronounced pronounced that correctly. Lou will not be allowed to go to the funeral. Bea was not even allowed to go to her own child's funeral. With Anne as the top authority of the prison, she will have no problem saying no to allowing Lou to attend. I have to agree with you, and you're probably right. However, can you imagine how pissed off Lou is going to be if Anne does stop her going to the funeral? It's just going to add fuel to the fire. But anyway, thank you for your comment, and of course, thank you all for your amazing comments. You've all been giving me some great theories recently, and some of you have even spotted a few things that I've missed, so keep those comments coming. Right then guys, well, if you're still here, then thank you all for sticking around until the end of the video. Make sure you smash that subscribe button, stay safe, and I'll see you all again very soon.